Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The crisis in the country, whether the Kenya Kwanza team wants to deny that there is no crisis, there is a big crisis and it is being witnessed by the young and old alike. Today, Kibaki's young grandson decided to give unsolicited advice to the Ruto administration because whatever is happening in the country is being watched and monitored very closely. Recently, the differences and altercation between the former president and the current president has taken a new turn of events, and people watch what is happening. Other family members who are not even related to the problem are being targeted. So, Kibaki's grandson was in an event today, an event of young men and women in this country, and he was asked his opinion on what has happened recently. This is what he said. Kibaki grandson rebukes government over Uhuru's son's home raid. This is in relation to the recent evening home raid by DCI officers who are traveling in vehicles with the foreign number plates. And he said, Sin Andrew, the grandson of late President Mwai Kibaki, shared his thought about the police raid at the home of Jomo Kenyatta, the son of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. Speaking to vloggers during the grand opening of Chatu 254 Cellar Gastro Club, which is owned by Akothe's daughter, Vesha Okello, Sin Andrew lamented that Uhuru's son was unfairly targeted by the government, and he insisted that Jomo is innocent of the accusations leveled against him. So exactly what did he say? This is to quote him. He said that Jomo is someone I know personally, and I think he was unfairly targeted. I am not gonna pick sides politically or anything, but I think Jomo is innocent, so is Mama Ngina. They should not have targeted anyone unrelated to what their disagreements are, he added. And he said, I think these are grown men and they should talk it out. They should not involve us in protest or anything. We have real issues as human beings, as people of Kenya. Those are the words of young Sin Andrew, a person who grew in that royal family. He tasted the trappings of power. Maybe he was young when the father was the president, but he can still feel it because they have read it. He knows that his grandfather, was a president. The security is there, the luxury cars and everything. The difference between Mwai Kibaki, the former president, and William Ruto is one. I have seen the deputy president and the president alike say that they want to take this country, economically speaking, to where Kibaki left it, because in real sense it is being argued that among all the presidents we've ever had in Kenya, it is Kibaki who got to serious business and tried to improve our economy. And they say that they want to improve the way Kibaki did it. But people have always told them that if you want to get this country to where Kibaki left it, then number one, you must stop politicking. Number two, you must stop the blame game. And number three, you must stop the revenge mission that you are in. You all understand that, in fact, the only election that has ever been won without any controversy is the 2002 election, when Kenyans were facing a revolution. They were tired of the Nyayo era. That is the only election that, if you ask anyone, they will tell you that was the only election that was won fairly. So this young man is challenging the Ruto administration. And he believes, because as young men, they are hanging out together. He says, Jomo is someone I know personally. You know, birds of the same feathers flock together. So he says that In his own opinion, he feels Jomo is innocent. And then he feels that Jomo is being targeted in a war and a battle, supremacy battle, that is not, it doesn't belong to. And then he's telling these two guys, the former president and the current president, that you are grown-ups. Can't you sit down and talk? And I feel shameful when a young man offers such unsolicited advice. You see, the advice is coming in handy because the international community, the businessmen, the clergy are urging the warring camps to sit down and talk. They say that Uhuru Kenyatta is the financier of the demonstrations. And that is why they are targeting unnecessarily a 90-year-old woman, Mama Ngina, and the young Jomo. It has reached a point where Obasanjo is in the country. The Kenya Kwanza is denying, but he is in the country. And he was not invited by the Azimio. Neither was he invited by the government. This was a target. This was a target by the international community, who are now forcing a talk or a meeting between the warring camps because people are dying in the streets, and Raila insists that we must have political, social, and economic justice. And this young man has got brains. If the leaders do not want to listen to each other, if Ruto cannot listen to Raila Odinga, if Raila Odinga cannot listen to Ruto, I think we can now listen to the young men, because the future belongs to the young people in this country. We've realized that sometimes the young men need to wake up, to rise up, because it is the young men who are suffering. I have a feeling from where I sit that maybe the young grandson to the Kibaki family might not know what the cost of living is. Maybe Amaisomea, maybe is an economist somewhere, but he does not feel it. The young men, just as Simple is saying that people should talk, the young men are the people who are on the streets lamenting about the cost of living. I have a feeling that when you see young men start to speak, because he was saying that he's not going to get into politics, he can change the world without getting into politics, which is very true. But the young men must now add their voices, just like this young man is saying. Targeting innocent Kenyans and shooting them. Targeting demonstrators and shooting them. Targeting a particular ethnic community and shooting them. Targeting leaders of Azimio and arresting them unnecessarily has got no place in this century. The last time I checked, even those who voted for Kenya Kwanza went to the street and they're saying, please lower the cost of living. Please implement what you said. We have a case that is in court today, courtesy of Okeya Mutata. And I've mentioned here before, it is my position that the courts will rule in favor of the executive because they have been captured together. Last but not least, the international community has given the Kenya Kwanza team a lot of pressure because they're the ones who are forcing the high taxes. And so they are the ones who are forcing people to the streets. And so they are the people who are causing unnecessary deaths. Because William Ruto cannot but listen and play to the gallery of the international community. When the first family is being targeted, the international community is very quiet. The invasion into the Northern farm, withdrawal of security and everything, they are ever quiet. But you see them telling William Ruto to go and broker a truce in Sudan, to go and broker a truce in Niger. Yet in Kenya, everything is falling haywire. I want to personally and absolutely agree with the young scene that we need tranquility in our nation. We don't need to target innocent people If there are differences, let Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, William Ruto, and all these people sort it out. But if there is an outcry from the people, let the government listen to the people.